Hello, Seeking Sister Wives fans. This is Season 5, Episode 7, entitled Seeking Answers. Let's see if anybody finds some. Hey, my name is Jenny, and this channel is called Reality TV Breakdown, where I break down a bunch of different reality shows that I enjoy watching, with the exception of Sister Wives, which has its very own channel. The name of that channel is Senior Perspective, and if you're at all interested in Sister Wives, go subscribe there too. You won't regret it. Today we are talking additional craziness in the Seeking Sister Wives universe. Okay, let's go through it, starting at the beginning. The episode opens up with Garrick and Dannielle back at home. They're in Colorado. We never saw them say goodbye or anything. Just ended. So they're back in Colorado, and they have Dannielle's mom, dad, brother, and sister-in-law all over for pizza to discuss how their trip to Mexico went. At some point, I have to look into what is the situation with Garrick's family. We never see Garrick's family. This may answer some questions as to why he's kind of a half a bubble off. Maybe he never had guidance in his life. Maybe he's searching for something or seeking something. Oh, he's seeking a sister wife. Ba-dum-bum. No pun intended. Let's go on. So right away, Garrick shares that it was a great trip and that he proposed to Natalia. Now, Dannielle's brother and his wife sit there pretty quiet. Not as quiet as Dannielle's mom and dad. Stunned and don't have a word to say. And by not a word to say, literally the mom didn't have a word to say this entire episode. Bless her heart. I don't even think she wants to be on camera. She just wants to support her daughter because she loves her daughter, but you can tell that she thinks this is all crazy. I mean, previous seasons she said she thought it was crazy, but whatever Dannielle wants. The ironic part is, I don't think this is what Dannielle wants. It's what Garrick told Dannielle that Dannielle wants, because it's what Garrick told Dannielle God told him they want. And you heard it too, didn't you, Dannielle? Right? Weren't you in the garage when the wind blew through, right? Bleh. Actually, that story changes. We'll get to that one later. Okay, I digress. So there we are in the living room, eating pizza casually, and they share this. Now, Dannielle's brother and sister-in-law are pretty quiet around the two of them.
I mean, it was good. I guess everybody seemed to get along really well, and so we ended up... I ended up proposing to her. What? What?
It's a little disappointing because in their interviews, they don't hold back. They seem pretty shocked by all of this.
Like, Garrick, why?
Dad chimes in at this point and he says,
So you sure about this? Brazil didn't work out too well the first time.
Are you sure? So we had some verbal feedback from Dad. Are you sure? Are you sure? You sure? I'm not sure. Mom's not sure. Are you sure? Brother Bear over there and his wife, not sure. All of America and around the world, not sure. But you're sure. Okay, let's go on. Garrick says, "Oh, I'm sure that we felt God spoke to us, and we felt his confirmation for sure." End quote.
Oh, I'm sure. I know God spoke to us, and we felt his confirmation for sure.
I love when he's talking to Dannielle's family. All of a sudden, it wasn't like when he was talking to Natalia and everything was when God spoke to me, when God talked to me. Now it's when God spoke to us. He knows what a jackass he'll look like telling mom and dad, God spoke to me and said, your daughter's not enough. So now God spoke to us. Right, Dannielle? Okay. I actually have a note here that I wrote that I was really excited when Garrick said this that he knew for sure this was right because there was no doubt. He got confirmation from God that he spoke to them. So I'm like, great. Because God's not going to lead anybody astray. He doesn't lead people on wild goose chases. Not one example of a false promise in the Bible. So, this being the faith that Garrick apparently embraces and manipulates, we can now say for certain, although this has kind of happened before, but now we have definitive, absolute confirmation from Garrick that God spoke to him for sure. And this is what he said. The Brazilian hot one is your next wife. Okay, so if it doesn't work out, we can just throw this whole God speaking to me thing out the window. Looking forward to it. Can't wait. So excited.
I sure do hope for soon.
The sister-in-law calls Garrick stupid, which I love. Unfortunately, that was in one of the talking head interviews and not to his face. To his face, she says, it's interesting to me. At least she's speaking. It doesn't seem like these two get any pushback. So Garrick keeps pushing forward with it because nobody's saying, you're insane. Stop. Don't go forward anymore. You're ruining your marriage. You're ruining your wife. You're ruining your family. You're embarrassing yourself. Like there's no voice of reason here. None. And then finally, we have the brother come in and say, you're crazy, buddy. But he's smiling when he does it. You're crazy, buddy.
You're crazy, buddy.
I don't think Garrick's taking it seriously. Okay. But this is one better. So then either the brother or the sister-in-law, and I'm sorry, I forgot what their names were. They have like a similar name, like Jane and James or Ginny and Jim. I can't remember. I remember they were similar. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'll just say brother and sister-in-law. One of them says, so Natalia's going to move here. And Garrick says, we have to figure that out. What?
But how do we figure out what to do?
You proposed to somebody. Didn't take the time to figure out ahead of time if she's moving to your country or if you have to uproot your whole family and move down to Brazil? What? I mean, there's no way he can marry her and she just stays in that country and this one stays here. Because that's just a side piece. That's it. No point in marrying her at that point. All she's going to do is take your money. Oh, that's the next part of the conversation. So I don't remember again, brother or sister-in-law, but one of them said, you're getting a prenup, right? And they were like, oh, yeah. Garrick can't answer a question, looks at Dannielle. I can't handle difficult questions. Answer these for me, please. Are we doing the prenup? Because I think his answer is no, to show that he trusts her. That'd be ridiculous. But the brother points out, if you legally marry Natalia, and then she wants to divorce you and take you for everything, where does that leave my little sister? Garrick, Dannielle? Gotta figure that out. And then he goes on and Garrick says, she's gotta... Wait, I wrote this down verbatim because I was like, is that sentence grammatically correct? He said, now she gotta figure out trying to open her own practice. Joke. Because I started transcribing it as I would say that sentence. And I was like, what? No. So there's all these little scribble out things here on this sentence because I'm like, I'm going to write it down exactly as he said it. The most eloquent Garrick said, now she gonna figure out trying to open her own practice. This is the mastermind that Dannielle is trusting with this major family life decision. I just can't. And he wants her, he goes on to say he wants her to use that law degree and get started. But he never says in what country. He's going to marry somebody in another country? I don't even have words. He's got a freaking construction business going on here. He's going to leave it for a month. Okay, we'll get to that later. I'm sorry. Where are we? So after Brother Bear says, so where does that leave my sister if she up and takes everything from you? And Garrick simply can't find the words and turns to Danny to answer the question for him. Danny says, yeah, we thought about that. Okay, you should have thought about that. What was the outcome? What was the decision? Or was there none before he decided to propose marriage to this woman? Oh, and sleep with her. Yeah, that happened too. Dear God, may there not be a baby. Do you remember how he thought God told him that he was supposed to impregnate Roberta too? Can you imagine the nightmare that would be if he had a baby in Brazil too? Oy. So Brother Bear over here now is asking Garrick about, well, don't you have any fears about all of this? Like, I mean, it's kind of crazy, and being fearful of getting married to her in another country, and your family here that doesn't have a legal marriage, it's kind of crazy. And Garrick admits, well, yeah, it's a little scary because unlike a monogamous marriage, this is, more difficult. So there are a few more fears involved. And Brother Bear says, okay, well, shouldn't that mean you should take more time to get to know her before you marry her?
That would make way too much sense.
This is what Garrick says.
I guess just obeying God. I mean, we both felt God to talk to us.
He's just obeying God. Wait, here's him retelling the wind through the garage story.
Before we went to Mexico, and we both just felt this cloud of the Holy Spirit flowing over us, and then this laughter and joy came over us, and we were laughing and happy, and we're oh my gosh, this is crazy.
The wind has turned into a cloud of laughing gas. It gets better and better. Maybe he's taking a literary class on the side. Okay, let's move on. Let's cut to the Davis family. A few weeks since we last saw them have passed since the whole sit-down meeting between April and Dannielle. And they decide they're going to do something to bond together as sister wives. So they go to a place where you just smash a bunch of stuff. I just don't see Dannielle as being angry. I think those smash places are good for people with anger issues, not for people who are sad. When you're sad, just be I don't care. I don't feel like smashing anything. You have to be angry. She doesn't strike me as an angry person. And it was pretty wimpy at first, but they got better at it. But the ironic part about it is, it was supposed to be a sister bonding thing. The guy gives them all the rules and says, okay, all three of you can't be in here at one time, only two people at a time. And so the two sister wives leave and leave Dannielle by herself. Bonding. It just struck me as funny when I saw it. I do want to make note here that we saw Jennifer smiling and laughing in this episode, which was nice. Have not seen that side of her. Glad that it exists. And April then says that she thinks this is enough to now sit down and have the talk with Dannielle about bringing another wife into the family. And I'm just thinking, wait a minute. Dannielle was so freaked out. She's so traumatized by it that she up and leaves, including all her little plants off the kitchen sill, out of the house, gets an apartment someplace else. Gone.
And I'm never coming back!
Can't handle it. Stressed, upset. April eventually sits down with her once she comes back. They talk it out, and she agrees to give Dannielle time. Now, in this episode, it says 2 weeks have passed. She thinks 2 weeks and smashing a bunch of plates is all she needs. She's ready to go again. She's ready to uproot her entire life and make it crazy and bring another woman into the situation. But before I explain all that, let's go to Nyla and Neelam. No, not Nyla and Neelam. I'm sorry. Neelam. Neelam was the name of my best friend in graduate school. Nyla and Naeem. There we go. Nyla and Naeem. This little section was actually quite funny. Nyla and Naeem have decided now, I'm sorry if I'm going to slow down because my brain wants to say Neelam. Nyla and Naeem have decided they are going to meet a potential sister wife in person now. So they're out at a billiards place or a club or something like that. Yeah. I wrote here a pool hall. Yeah, billiards. So they're out one evening and they meet this girl named Alexis. Now, how they approached her and how they mentioned the sister wife's concept or thing, I don't know. But they apparently had a great time with her and decided to invite her out on a date with just the two of them. Now, they did it, but Nyla's really just going along for the ride. She thinks this girl is way too young and it's not going to work out. But she's just letting Naeem go along and find out for himself that this isn't going to be a good match.
We met Alexis at the pool hall. She is a lot younger than we are. She's only 26. I mean, he decided that this would be a perfect opportunity for him to get his feet wet with meeting someone in person. He decided to go chat her up, and she seemed pretty fun. So we decided to maybe give it another shot to see if we were all click. So I'm extremely skeptical that Alexis is sister wife material, but since Naeem seems interested in talking to her, I guess I'll give her a chance.
And I'm starting to get disappointed at this point in Naeem, and I'm thinking, maybe he's just like the rest of them. Maybe he just wants to get in her pants. And sure enough, Naeem has a very interesting reason for looking again for a sister wife. And it's not about finding the perfect wife or wife material or somebody mature and loving. And this is what he said.
We're going to keep an open mind. Initially, I just was like, no. Like,
we're getting ourselves back out there, so we got to try to see if it works.
Oh, goodness, I can't
and
get
if
this
it doesn't
zipper.
work, at least it's a good tune-up.
Loosen up. It seems like an utter waste of time, but let's go ahead and watch and see how everything unfolds. The girl shows up at the bar, and my first reaction is, holy smokes, that is the shortest skirt I've ever seen. The skirt is so short that you barely don't even see the skirt because it's so high up. It's really just shorts with like a little piece of material over the top. And by shorts, I mean short shorts. I was like, well, okay. So here's Nyla and Naeem dressed very sophisticated, appropriate, and she comes in looking like this. And I'm very glad to see that both of them right away were like, oh, and especially Naeem. Made me happy to see that he was not digging it and he thought she was inappropriate.
My impressions from Alexis when she first walked in was that was not the outfit for the location. If you're going out to have drinks, you kind of like want to put on a nice dress, a nice skirt.
She's barely dressed, and it's just not something we would do.
I just need somebody to know how to carry yourself. A mature woman is what I'm looking for.
She's young. She's 26 years old. 26. I don't know how old they are, but they're not 26. I would say they're probably in their mid-30s, maybe? What do you think? I don't know. It's hard to tell. But now, they're just more mature. I think they're older. I think they're like 30s, mid-30s. Maybe even to late 30s. I don't know. How old do you think they are? How old do they look? And then look it up for me and tell me how old they really are. Hey, side note. Have you ever heard of James, who has a YouTube channel called My Take on Reality? Great channel. Subscribe if you haven't. And surprise, I have the honor of guest hosting on this Sunday on his channel. We're going to be talking about Chapter 1 of Becoming Sister Wives. Don't miss out. So at the get-together, this girl is going to try wines, and they're like, do you like wine? She's like, I like sweet wine. Not a refined palate whatsoever. And yet, not judging. Not judging. In my 50s, still like a sweet wine. Never really liked wine. I'm weird. Never liked coffee either. I'm weird. Coffee and wine, the two things women my age live on. I don't like either one of them.
Can I please have some more wine?
And coffee.
But I'll drink a sweet wine. I like a Moscato. At my daughter's wedding, one of the wines was a blueberry Riesling. Amazing. It really was amazing because blueberries are one of my least favorite fruits. And yet, drank a few of those blueberry Rieslings. They were good. Okay, You don't care. Let's move on. Why am I talking about wine? Oh, because she only liked the sweet wine, and that's typical of 20-year-olds that most of them like sweet wines. Okay, so she's trying some of the different wines, and she tries the one, and she goes, it tastes like, was it gummy bears? Oh, fruit snacks. Right. Fruit snacks. It tastes like fruit snacks. And you can just see Naeem is like, fruit snacks. Oh my God. At the end of the whole evening, I remember him saying, I felt like my daughter was with us on our date tonight. It was terrible. And the best part is, Nyla is loving every second of it. You can tell. Because she didn't want to do this anyway. And this date is crashing and burning. And with every moment, she's enjoying it. She really is. I told you. One of the things that made her seem the youngest, though, is her constant, nonstop chomping away on the potato chips that she had. Why she didn't order the fries, I don't know, knowing that she was going to be mic'd. But she just sat there while she's talking and putting it. I didn't think Nyla and Naeem even ate, but then afterwards I did see that there were trays with some of the food gone. Like most of the fries were still there, but some of the other stuff was gone. Like they kind of ate. She didn't miss a morsel. I mean, she's still probably trying to figure out how to make rent on her apartment every month. At that age, it's when we were all poor, right? So she's like, free meal. It's amazing. So then halfway through this whole scene, I noticed she wasn't eating the potato chips anymore, but half of her burger was gone. So she ate all the chips first, which is such a childlike thing to do, right? You have to separate your food so they don't touch each other and just eat this and then eat this because you don't want to mix it. So she's just chomping down in that. And eventually they decide to sort of end the evening early. And you can tell her, she's like, oh yeah, we're done already? Let me finish this burger. I'm not done. So she says goodbye to them. Earlier, she made a comment. She goes, I love this place. I've never been any place like this before. Like a grown-up place. All right. It was just funny. It was a good comic relief because it's just not a good match. I'm sure she's a lovely person. I'm not dissing her as a person, just to be clear, in case that's coming off wrong. I'm saying her with the two of them, hysterical. We quickly cut to the Ryan family who are back home from their 12-hour trip after Stephanie basically dumped them. And they're discussing if this is the end of Stephanie. Duh. And Justin does say there's been too much disrespect. The bridge is burned, it's over. Becky is hypothesizing, do you think that she was taking advantage of us this entire time? Yes. I don't know why you're just thinking about that now. It's just shocking to me, but yes, Becky, move on. Let me give Justin and Becky, as well as Dannielle and Garrick, some advice. Let's not shower gifts and money and expensive things on the new person who's joining this quirky, odd, most people wouldn't do it relationship. Then you'll find out if the intention is pure or not. That's Mama Jenny coming to you straight. All right, let's go back to the Davis family now. So they're all done smashing. And the three girls decide to go out to eat. And sure enough, April brings up, Dannielle, what do you think? Ready now? Now that you smashed a plate and a bowl? Another sister wife? Yeah? Dannielle eventually agrees. I don't think it's going to go well. I don't think in 2 weeks' time she's gotten over it. I think she's just going to try again. And sure enough, April in her wisdom says she is cautiously optimistic that this time Dannielle will not run. She'll stay. But she does have the apartment, so she can if she wants to. The door is even more open than before. She doesn't have to find a place. She's got a place. I wonder if the plants are still there or if she brought them back. That would be a sign on how invested she is. We go back to the Merrifields, and right now we have Garrick riding mountain bikes with his... It's so funny because they said his fifth grade best friend. I think they meant his best friend since fifth grade. But if he had to go all the way back in the yearbooks to fifth grade, to his best friend in fifth grade to find somebody who would be willing to be considered his friend and go on the show, that would be funny. That would be funny. But I think they meant they've been friends since 5th grade. This is where Garrick reveals to us that he is planning on going back to Brazil shortly to marry Natalia and spend a month there. A month. He doesn't need to spend a month there. Just get married. And then can't she visit? Are people in Brazil not allowed to visit America? Is there some sort of ban that I don't know about that you can't take a vacation in America if you're a Brazilian? I don't understand why she can't come here at all. She has a marriage visa too, or would be applying for one. The whole visa thing was confusing anyway. Apparently she didn't have a visa at all, so that's why they went to Mexico, because Mexico took passports, but then they didn't take their passport. But then she said she had to get on a waiting list for a visa, and miraculously she went from number 500 to number 1. Did Garrick maybe wire her some money? And then she made it happen, either legitly or she pocketed it and then said she got pushed up to the front of the line. I don't know. I really want all the details on that story. What I would do to have a PA or producer write the tell-all books of both Sister Wives and Seeking Sister Wives. Oh, there's a lot of good backstories there. There are. I know they sign NDAs. Wonder when they expire. Maybe they expire when the show ends. That would be great. In that case, let's let both of their seasons wrap up this year because I'm so curious. No, don't. This is too good of stuff. This is just crazy. So what does Garrick's friend think of all this craziness?
Knowing Garrick for as long as I have, a lot of his decisions that he makes, like, at first I'm like, you're doing what? Oh, okay, yeah, you're Garrick. I expect that out of you. He's a crazy bastard. I don't know. It just seems like it could be a lot of wasted time being down in Brazil, a lot of wasted money. I don't think Dannielle's too happy about it.
Kind of what everybody thinks, huh? He says to Garrick, aren't you worried about bringing them together and having 2 wives under the same roof? I mean, in terms of intimacy, that's got to be awkward and there must be jealousy. Garrick has a golden answer. We knew he would. We knew he'd come through with flying colors. He did not disappoint. We go straight to the women are a problem, and it's always women's fault card. Here we go.
But I think if the wives get together and they want to be honest and loving, and they love and support each other, and they care and they're looking out for each other's best interest and not getting egos and that kind of stuff, I think it'll be beautiful. But yeah, if they don't follow that path, it'll be crazy.
If the wives love and support each other and they don't let their egos get in the way, if they do this and then they don't do this, it'll be okay. But if they don't follow that path, it's going to be crazy. All up to them. Not a thing I can do. He didn't offer anything about what he's going to do to see to it that her needs are met, and what he's going to do to see to it that her needs are met, and how he's going to make sure that they both feel like they are seen and heard and loved. Nothing. Garrick offered nothing to how he's going to help make this happen, how they're going to have conversations, how they might have family conversations once a week and individual ones every night for 15. There's so many possible solutions. This is not a lifestyle I would in a million years embrace or be a part of or even consider joining. And yet, I think off the top of my head, I already came up with 5 possible solutions. Garrick's got nothing. Well, it's on these women. They better get it together. Because if they're selfish and they don't love each other enough and they let their egos get in the way, well, yeah, there'll be problems.
You know how women are.
And I don't know what I'm going to do because I can't answer any questions or solve any problems myself. Let's go back to Nyla and Naeem. The first line I have here is, she's still chowing down on chips.
Cue montage.
Me, not
The
you.
taste buds changed.
Yeah, the taste buds definitely changed.
Yeah, mine are like baby taste buds.
You got baby taste buds.
I do. Yeah. I do. I'm an adult for the first time tonight. I've never done anything like this before.
What do you think about Naeem?
He's fine though.
It's fun. It's kind of fun.
He's awesome.
And funny.
Yeah, I feel like everybody's just kind of We just met. Right?
Decide that you want to date or whatever. You don't have like rules or anything like that. I guess I kind of like respect Del one-on-one. No, we do it the other way just to see if it, well, from experience, it just doesn't work well like that.
Well, you never know. But I happen. I gotta keep your mind open.
This is true. Date with Alexis, and this date is just an absolute fumble. One, she's definitely too young. No, we were just talking about some of like the guidelines for how we go about dating, no one-on-one dating or anything like that. Yeah, presume that I am dictating
Into this as a unit, I think we should be able to trust each other enough. She initially brought it to my attention.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is great. I think you guys are wonderful. She's all in. The girl's like, why not? This sounds like fun. I'll date the two of you. She asked one really good question was, what made you guys decide to get into polygamy? So they explained that. And then they asked her, what do you feel about this? And she's like, I don't know.
What do you feel about you being in an equation?
I don't know.
More, you gotta give me more than that.
Right there, that was the moment that I thought, okay, this is a big fat no for Naeem. He's so done. He's out of here. And he did say in his interview that he was kicking Nyla's leg underneath the table. Like, let's get out of here. Get her out. Okay, so that was the end of the date. And Naeem agreed. They should have never gone on the date. She was too young. She's too emotionally immature, but just also, he's like, just chronologically, she was just too immature. She was just too young. I'm never going to date a 26-year-old again. I'm sure Nyla appreciated that. We go back to the Merrifields, where things aren't so rosy anymore. This is 1 month since they've been in Mexico. Dannielle's interview, I think she was actually doing a self-interview on a phone because I think she was really mad at him because she was recording him as they were in a fight. I don't think he knew. I don't think he knew that when she had her phone there, she was recording him because he was being all snippy and defensive and argumentative. You could tell he was just getting sassy with her. And she was upset because she'd been trying to contact Natalia all day. And Garrick apparently had talked to her numerous times in the day. Natalia never once contacted Dannielle back. And according to Garrick, the reason for this is she magically got a new phone today during this whole thing. And she's like, okay, but after she got the new phone, did she contact you? And he's like, well, yeah. And she's like, well, how much? A couple times. Well, she hasn't contacted me.
Did she respond to you on the old phone at all?
no.
At all?
Not since she's been home and
No, wait, not at all today.
No.
Not at all today.
Not since she saw my messages. Now she's back on her phone. She's seen my messages. Now why is she not responding? She saw my messages. She saw my messages. Respond to that. Go ahead.
Oh, and Garrick doesn't get it, so now he's trying to backpedal. And then now he says, no, actually, I never heard from her after she got the new phone. Story changed because he's Garrick. Ever-changing story man.
She literally saw my message and didn't respond.
What do you mean? She switched over her phone. How do you know she's not going to respond? You don't even know yet.
Yeah, that was like 2 hours ago. She saw my messages. She's responded to you how many times? And how many times has she responded to you? How many times has she responded to you?
For 6 hours.
How many times has she responded to you? In the matter of time, she said, please let the sister know.
She hasn't said another word to me since then.
It's been hours since she responded to me.
So Dannielle is in her bedroom, pissed at him, is like letting it all out. And she's like, I just don't get this. Over the past month, things between her and Garrick have become more and more tense, and they've become more and more distant from each other. And now he has a trip planned for a month in Brazil without her. Dannielle's staying home. He's going to go there and get married without Dannielle. No amount of money, I tell you. I could never. No amount of money. Sometimes he's so far out in left field, I can't. He's not doing this with her. He's telling her what he's doing, and he's telling her that she's on board, and he's telling her that God told her it was okay too. And sure enough, where is it? She actually echoed that back at one point here. Here it is. She said, I know we need separation because the way our relationship is going isn't good. I know we need a separation right now because the way our relationship is going isn't good. Except the separation is your husband leaving to go to Brazil to be with this hot young thing that he's going to marry and stay there for a month. How could that possibly help your relationship? I'm starting to get a headache. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. These two things do not go together. What else do we have here? Oh, just a couple notes. I have here that during the argument in the kitchen that Garrick was dismissive and accusatory, and again, blaming all their problems on women. They're the worst.
I think women are emotional and nurturing, but I think that at the same time, it makes them more vulnerable to thoughts or ideas.
I know, Garrick, I get it. We're so emotional. Can't be trusted. How can you live? If he really is this misogynistic and he really feels this way about women, how does he think he's going to be able to handle 5 wives? Well, let's backtrack. How does he think he can handle 2 wives? That's it. Completely incapable of doing so. Everything is going to be their fault no matter what goes wrong because they're women and they're emotional. But Garrick had the best line ever. I'll end it with this. Oh, this is good. This is golden. This is worth the wait. If you've made it to the end of this video, congratulations, because you're getting the best nugget of information right here, right now. See, this is the reason you need to watch all the way to the very end of my videos. Do you notice I have a special little goodbye at the very, very end? I try to switch it up every time. A couple times they repeat, but usually they're different. They're worth sticking around for. Okay. Slight little advertisement. Oh, and by the way, right now, if you haven't had a chance to like and subscribe, do so. What are you waiting for? Costs nothing. Okay, this is what Garrick, in the talking head, talking about this argument they're having in the kitchen. I kid you not. Garrick said, not every thought that enters your mind is a good thought to entertain.
Thoughts or ideas, that come into the mind, and then they run with that emotionally too. And having to learn to, well, not every thought that enters your mind is a good thought to entertain.
No truer words were said. Garrick, not every thought that enters your mind is a thought that needs to be entertained. Not every good-looking woman that walks by and says, yes, I'll take all your money and marry you, should be entertained. Not every stirring of your loins needs to be entertained. Oh, for him to take that sentence and use it against Dannielle blows my mind. Not every thought that enters your mind is a good thought to entertain. I hope he doesn't marry her in Brazil. I really don't, because it's going to be a mess for Dannielle. Okay, in the middle of this episode, I did a little side note to let you know that on Sunday I will be discussing Chapter 1 with James on My Take on Reality, a fabulous channel that I have been subscribed to for quite some time. But that doesn't mean our Cloak of Charity Club has come to an end. Oh, no. In fact, I can't put any more off because I need to stay a step ahead of that channel. Because our book club of Becoming Sister Wives, better known as our Cloak of Charity Club, a reference to the Mormonism Live interview with Cody Brown, it is my opportunity to read it for the first time. Now, there have been 2 videos I needed to make and find some excerpts in the book for it, but I did go right to what I needed, and that's it. I've not read through the whole chapters. This Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live, come to my channel as I read Chapter 4 of Becoming Sister Wives. Takes us about 2 hours to get through it because a lot of discussion. It's not a straight book read. Take a little passage, and I talk about it. It's a good time. I know it's on another channel. It's on Senior Perspective because it is specifically covering sister wives. Here is the name. The link will be in the description down below. I'd love to see you there. Take care. Adios, sister friends. Bye-bye.
Adios.